You're going to love this guest. She comes all the way from, gasp, Connecticut, and she has come to silence the slander, destroy the haters.
My ultimate goal is to help convince people that Connecticut doesn't suck as much as people think it might.
I think Rhode Islanders are the worst drivers. We have no business to drive the way we do because our state's too small.
So we have a Connecticut resident that went to Gillette Stadium and ate sushi at the game.
With my whole heart and soul, I'm going to say Connecticut is number one.
Connecticut number one. Is that a first for the pod? Have we ever had Connecticut number one?
From Maine's cold coast to Connecticut pride, Vermont's green hills take it all in stride. Massachusetts traffic we grip and we grind with a Dunkin' iced coffee and no peace of mind. So New England stands up proud. Chowder thick, we shout it loud. From Fenway Chance to Rhode Island Tide, New Hampshire's cry, live free or die. So New England with Ian Brownhill.
Good friggin' morning from New England, folks. Welcome back to episode 93 of the So New England podcast. I'm your host, Ian Brownhill, joined by my co-host, RJ Trevisano, virtually. Couldn't be in studio tonight. Then we got Vinny Chen's behind the lens, taking care of all things. We have got... How do I say this? We went out of our comfort zone to source this one. This goes against all things that I have believed in for a long time. RJ, please tell us who we have in studio today.
It's been a long time coming, but I can promise you, our lovely fans, you're going to love this guest. She comes all the way from, gasp, Connecticut, and she has come to silence the slander, destroy the haters, and shove a glaze stick in Ian's mouth for all those dumb TikToks.
Wow.
Have you ever heard the saying, that's on my bucket list? Of course you have. It was rhetorical. We all have. Well, our guest is here to share why some of those items are located right here in Connecticut. But it doesn't stop there. She has love for all of New England, and her diversity is unmatched. Just ask her over 250,000 fans and followers who support and share her with the masses. So without further ado, we welcome the Connecticut Bucket List, Miss Kathleen Roche.
I mean, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
That was one of your best yet, my friend.
They get better every time.
Saving it for Connecticut is a wild choice, but I'll let it rock.
It's fitting. I think it's perfect.
They deserve it.
The Connecticut Bucket List. Mm-hmm. Anyone that knows me knows that this is tough.
This is a bit controversial.
This is. So are you ready to be the face of the official defender of all things Connecticut?
I'm ready.
Kathleen, thank you so much for making the trek in from Connecticut to Little Rhodey.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it is an honor and a pleasure. So let's dive into it. I'd love to hear your story, and I'd love to be convinced as to why the sixth state, also part of the tri-state, Connecticut, is such a wonderful place that you not only live, but you produce such incredible, content.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try. My ultimate goal is to help convince people that Connecticut doesn't suck as much as people think it might.
You can say it. Yes, we're honest here.
But I never thought I would be in this position. I am a full-time content creator. It's amazing, but I guess from the beginning, I went to school up in Boston College.
Oh, cool.
And, growing up, my parents did a great job of bringing us around Connecticut, especially my dad. He would always be like, get in the car, we're going on a road trip, and we would see different parts of Connecticut. But I think it's half just growing up anywhere. You're going to kind of be like, oh, it's boring here. Like, I want to see what else is out there. And then half, Connecticut has never done a great job of marketing itself. And that's changed a bit lately, but when I went to school up in Boston, I thought I would stay there forever. So I moved back home the summer after graduation, just, to live there while I assumed that I was going to move back and find a job and leave Connecticut forever. So I made a little bucket list in my notes app and was just like, you know what, I'm going to hit all the spots that I've always wanted to go. I'll never be back here. Let's do it. So I just started making my way through the list and fell in love with the state. And it's funny to fall in love with a state that you've grown up in and that you already knew so much about. But I think it's all about kind of opening your mind to those experiences and, finding those hidden gems that you didn't know existed. So it took me a bit of time before I actually started the Instagram account. I was working in marketing for an architecture firm, and I wanted something a little bit more creative, and I decided this was going to be my passion project. I just wanted so badly to convince people that Connecticut's not as bad as you think it is. Because, you know, I had been there. I had been like, it sucks.
Yeah.
And now I was like, I need to share this with the world.
Yeah.
So I can remember the moment that I finally like created the profile, because I was like, this is so cringy, like whatever, we're just going to do it. And it ended up just taking off. I think it was part timing luck. I got into it right when they were switching over to Reels. So I kind of just jumped into that and rode that algorithm wave. And then, you know, there weren't a ton of Connecticut content creators at that time, and creators that were fully dedicated to Connecticut. There were a lot, you know, New York, Connecticut, Boston, Connecticut. So yeah, I just made this kind of like a love letter to the state. And then I ended up getting laid off from my full-time job. So I was like, let me just see if I can make this work full-time. And that was about 3 years ago. I've been doing it ever since. And it's crazy. Like if you had told me even like a day before that happened, if I could ever take this full-time, I would have been like, that's insane. But here we are. So
yeah, a testament to your hard work and getting out of your comfort zone and taking a chance. So
yeah, it's great. And people's love for Connecticut, you know?
Yeah, they do. I'm still trying to find those people, but I heard that they're out there.
I'm convincing at least maybe one per day.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I'd love to kind of dive into that thought process of romanticizing and falling back in love with places that you're from. I think that this is starting to happen a lot for so many different people who in similar situations are forced to move back home, mostly because it's really difficult to survive right now.
Absolutely.
So some of us are moving in back with our parents if we have to, going back with former roommates and people that they know so that they can be in places that they're familiar with jobs that work. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But
Absolutely.
I'd love to kind of understand what started being so charming and just like enticing for you to be like, wow, Connecticut really isn't as bad as I thought. What did that for you so that you can kind of help convince me what the charm is?
Yes. I think there's two parts to it. One, I think that it's a lot about your mindset, which sounds ridiculous, but if I've learned one thing from being on social media, it's like you have to open your mind to new experiences. And there are lots of people that just want to be miserable. Like
Facts.
They just do. Like
They
in my
do.
comments, they're all the time. They're like, this is fake.
My
I'm like,
character?
What do you mean?
Always miserable. There's no making him happy.
But yeah, I think it's just, first of all, you have to go in with an open mind and be like, I could actually enjoy this, right? Like, let's have a little fun with life. And then two is actually finding those hidden gems, or even the places that have been right in front of your face the whole time, but you never really gave a chance, or, you know, maybe you visited at a time in your life when you weren't really open to that experience. So I think it's a mixture of both of those things. But there are so many great things to do in Connecticut. We just, again, as a state as a whole, I think it's really important to have state pride, and it's hard to do that when your own state doesn't feel like it believes in itself. So recently, the marketing from the actual state has been a lot better, and they're doing the pizza trail and the Hallmark movie trail, and they're actually working with creators and really inspiring not only people to visit Connecticut, but its own residents to have pride in where they live. So I think that's really important as well.
Why do you think Connecticut gets such a bad rap?
I think
TikTokers like you, damn it.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
you know, it is
You're the guest. I'm not. I'm sorry.
it is a good point though. Like it's, I feel like we fall into a weird place where we don't fully feel like we're part of New England, and we're also not part of New York, but we're kind of in the middle of the two. And a lot of our residents work in New York or work in New England and commute from Connecticut. So we find ourselves in like a little bit of an interesting place. But, you know, we do have it all if you spend the time to look there. It's also, you know, it's called a drive-through state. People are either going to New York or going to Boston because those are the big name cities. You know, it's easy to know what to do there. So it's kind of a forgotten about zone.
and speaking of zones, how would you personally break up Connecticut as far as experiences are concerned? Because obviously most of New England, we call it the highway to get us through to New York,
Yep.
and the wall that prevents New York from coming to Boston. Yep. So a lot of people don't realize that highway is actually quite nice along the little coastline there.
Yes.
You and I were just talking about the cute, quaint little town of Niantic that a lot of people don't know about or go to.
Love Niantic.
There are a lot of beautiful places. Of course, everyone knows about Mystic because of, you know, the Hallmark type of experience there. But if you were to break it up, what does the diversity look like? Because I've been quoted on this before, but there is a lot of hidden gems, and Connecticut does have a lot of really beautiful areas to it. It's not just Bridgeport, New Haven, Mystic, and Hartford, you know? So.
Are you allowed to say that?
I am. This is my podcast, damn it, and I will say it.
Yeah, I think Connecticut has a lot of different regions and things to do. You have the whole shoreline is absolutely beautiful, but even the shoreline itself is very different zones. Like you have the Mystic area, which is much more New England, much more historic. You have the, Fairfield County area, which is kind of like a little New York. Like there's a lot of people that work in New York and live there. That's one of the best food scenes in Connecticut, I would say. You have the Litchfield Hills, which is gorgeous hiking, nature, lakes. You have the Quiet Corner, it's called, up in the east, but there's still a lot of great things to do. There's horseback riding and great ice cream and things like that. And then, Hartford and all the way down to New Haven, pizza, obviously, and just a lot of great hidden gems in Hartford. You have Pratt Street. There's a lot going on there. And there's a lot of people reinvesting in Hartford and kind of trying to bring it back to life, which I think is amazing.
And if you were going to bring someone in from New England to win them over, what kind of experience would you take them on? What do you think would actually really sell Connecticut to somebody? And let's just, for the sake of taking travel out of it, let's say travel doesn't exist. You can teleport to all these places. What would the day look like?
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is tough. I feel like, any area of Connecticut, I can create a day trip that will want you to come back.
That right there.
But if I'm going off of like the most, let's see, maybe like postcard worthy or like headline worthy, it's bold to say, but maybe I'll even avoid Mystic for this because I feel like we talk about Mystic a lot.
So much, yeah.
But it is worth it. It's absolutely worth it. That's a whole week itinerary.
That's why he lives there right now.
Exactly. Yes.
Dub town.
But I would say maybe stay along. No, I'm going to have you stay at the Hopkins Inn in Litchfield. It's on Lake Warramog. It's beautiful. It's very quaint. It's a little bit old style, but super cute. It also has a winery next door, so can't go wrong. But you're going to wake up, you're going to see the beautiful lake. You maybe go for a little swim. Then you're going to head down to New Haven, go to like a lot of the museums there, check out the Green, obviously get some New Haven pizza or Louis lunch, hamburgers. The pizza trail in itself is a whole thing. But then I would drive along the shoreline and hit some of those coastal towns. So either Guilford or Niantic. There's one of my favorite Indian places in Branford called Darbar. They do like Indian pizzas, Indian tacos, and then like it's a family-owned restaurant and they're always creating new things. It's so cool, but they also have great classic Indian fare. And then I would probably end the night in maybe New London. We don't talk about New London a lot, but there's some great waterfront restaurants there. I would either go to On the Waterfront which is the name of a restaurant, not just on the water. But they have great cocktails and seafood. Or I'd go to Paul's Pasta, which is also on the water, and it's like all fresh homemade pasta. They even do a habanero pasta, which if you like spicy things, good and super hard to find. So yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
What would you say right now is the best kept secret of Connecticut?
Ooh, okay.
That you're still kind of like, I don't even know if I want to talk about it because I enjoy it so much. I don't want social media to blow it up.
Okay, let me think about this. You know what? I'm gonna say Hartford because people love to hate Hartford, even, especially people that live in Hartford. They love to hate Hartford. But I really think people haven't given it a chance, especially in this like new age when there's a lot of new businesses coming to Hartford and a lot of businesses coming back to Hartford. There's a great street called Pratt Street. It's super cute, historic. There's like a brewery, a few restaurants. They're doing really fun watch parties for the World Cup. It's just a great spot for the whole city to come together. And there's also a lot of great restaurants and things like that there. Bushnell Park is beautiful. They have a carousel, a lot of history.
Where is there? There's a food hall in Hartford too, right? Isn't there like a nice indoor food hall? There's a little
like food court. I've actually never been inside.
Okay.
I can't say I've actually heard amazing things about that.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
I will get back to you on that. Okay. I'm going to go check it out.
I actually went there once. That's why I wasn't sure.
Oh,
so yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, because Rhode Island at the time didn't really have anything like that.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Parkville Market?
Maybe. I don't know.
Was it like outside of downtown?
Perhaps.
Okay, that is a
there
cool
was
place.
There was a lot. It was like a rectangle, and there was lining both sides here and there, and then it was just like.
And they had like an outdoor area,
cafeteria seating on the inside.
Okay, I think that's Parkville Market. That's a great place.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Well, either way, it was an enjoyable experience for me.
Awesome, glad to hear that.
So when you are getting into your content creating era and you start getting stuff, what was it for you that you said, or how did you come up with your strategy and how you were going to separate yourself? Obviously, being from Connecticut was a huge plus because like
really
no one's
was.
doing it.
Yeah.
But of course, lifestyle vlogging, food, travel, all of those things are not necessarily a saturated market for you, but it takes a little bit of creativity. It takes a little bit of time. And I want to know how you go about choosing where you're going to go, how you get into it. Do people invite you out? Do you like to, do things on your own? Where does your inspiration come from?
Yes. Yeah, people usually reach out to me, but I also still go places that I just want to go myself. I still make my personal bucket lists, especially for the summer, and, go to places that I just want to go. But I would say I try to just put out quality content. Like I'm not really worried about jumping on the trends or posting a certain number of times per day that people say will be best for growth. I try to just put out content that I feel passionate about and that I know people will want to see. And I try to strike a balance between, the first 2 years I ran my account, I was completely faceless. I'm like a generally kind of shy person, even though I love being around people. So it just felt super intimidating to put myself on camera. So I was completely faceless. So it was relying a lot more on visuals and things. But now I kind of try to strike a balance between, more lifestyle vloggy content and then, keeping myself out of it. Cause I still find those clients that are looking for, me not to be in it at all. They're looking for more of just a content shoot. And then some of them are looking for that more personal, casual style content. So I kind of like to hit both sides of that spectrum.
I love that. And what has been the most rewarding experience for you so far? What have you really enjoyed about the content itself?
Definitely the people that I work with, the small businesses. That's one of the reasons why, as you grow as a creator, you kind of have to figure out what your end goal is. And if you want to grow your account, if you want to expand, I had niched myself down to Connecticut, and I had a lot of people being like, oh, are you going to expand to either New England or, the whole States, or what are you going to do? And it took me a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, I wanted to stick to my mission statement and my heart and keep this a Connecticut focused page. So I do get to work with a lot of small businesses and small brands in Connecticut. And it's just incredible when, I've worked with businesses that are not sure how much longer they'll be able to stay open. And then we work together and, they have a line out the door, and helping people that, you can see the light in their eyes and the stress off of their shoulders when something like that happens. And of course it doesn't happen every time and not every video goes viral, but it's just nothing can beat that.
Yeah, that's incredibly rewarding, and kudos to you for doing that
Hell
for the
yeah.
small businesses.
Yeah.
We love that. As a small business state like Rhode Island, we love to see it.
Yes. Big fan of small businesses. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part of Connecticut yourself that you really enjoy?
Shout out to West Hartford. That's where I'm from and where I still live. And I think that's a great little area of the state. There's so much to do. The downtown is super walkable, which I think is kind of hard to find. A lot of times downtowns will have a super busy road running through them, or, not as many options as you'd like. But I love West Hartford. But I'd say probably my favorite part of the state, it's between New Haven and Mystic, probably. Yeah.
Come through. We'll get ice cream.
Yes.
I know
Drawbridge.
the spot. Yes. Jamaican Me Nutty, all the scoops. The best ice cream ever. Don't at me. Don't care. Just the flavor and what comes with it. The scoop is perfect. Other places have good ice cream. I'm not saying that, but it is my favorite ever.
Now I need to know what is in this flavor.
Deliciousness. Duh. No, they have almonds, cashews, and two kind of nuts, but it's like a chocolate mocha
Oh my goodness.
coffee mixture. It's just so well done. The ice cream there is good in general, but that one just
Hits.
smacks me in the face with deliciousness every time.
All right. That flavor specifically is now on my bucket list.
Yeah, when Ian comes to do his ice cream thing there, he's actually going to tell me he's in Mystic for the first time since I moved here, and we're going to do it together. So I'll be a guest appearance in that
Wow.
ice cream pot.
That was a personal statement there. Don't worry about that.
That wasn't a similar low blow or anything.
Yep. This is just what we do as best friends. Don't forget, you're a computer right now. I can unplug you. Be nice.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm going to get so cut for that.
Let's talk about the food scene,
Yes.
because I know you do a lot of food travel and
Yes.
stuff. So let's get into it. Talk to me about the food scene as a whole. What's really good? What's popping off? Where do you like to go? Make some recommendations. Let's talk all the foods.
Yes. It's funny. I've always thought the food in Connecticut was fantastic, especially there's a lot of diversity of different cuisines, but I still hear people be like, oh, and the food in Connecticut sucks. And I'm like, what? Wait, where are you going? Because it's really good.
McDonald's at the
So true.
the park and ride there on just off the highway.
Yeah,
I've
right?
never had a bad meal in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to come by chains in Connecticut too, which I love and appreciate. So I guess they're going to that one McDonald's.
Yeah.
But yes, we have so many good restaurants. Mystic is a food hub. That is one of my favorite spots. It's kind of hard to find a bad meal there. The Oyster Club and Port of Call are probably my favorites in Mystic. You go to Port of Call first for like cocktails and appetizers, and then you go right next door to Oyster Club and have a full meal there. Renee Toupons is the chef. She's absolutely incredible.
Oh, we know the chef on a first name basis. Look at you
yeah,
go. Okay, you don't play around.
James Beard, chef, incredible.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
New Haven, I mean, I can't not talk about the pizza scene, right? Best pizza in the world. And I've been to Italy, and I'm going to say that. Yeah, I mean, you really can't beat it. There's also so many different types of pizza in New Haven besides like the classic New Haven style pizza that they're doing well too. So, I mean, New Haven pizza, you can't go wrong.
All right, so let's harp on that real quick.
Okay.
Then. Top 3 pizza spots.
Okay. Well, the 3 most iconic are Sally's, Pepe's, and Modern. My personal favorite at the moment, because I feel like they kind of flux, but Modern is my favorite. They also have eggplant as a pizza topping, and that's my favorite pizza topping, which might be kind of weird, but
really,
it
eggplant.
Is. Yeah, breaded eggplant.
It's actually pretty
specifically.
good.
No kidding.
So
I've never
good.
had that
It
on a
is.
pizza.
Like a white
Nice
pizza
choice.
with breaded eggplant, garlic.
Oh, now I'm in. I love a white
ricotta.
pizza.
Yeah. Oh my
I'm
god.
a white pizza guy.
Me too.
I absolutely love white
Yes.
pizza.
You gotta
got a
try the
spot-
veggie one at Pizza Place because that has the eggplant on it and all the veggies. It's really good.
Pizza
Yeah.
Place in Westerly has the best, hands down, the best cheese pizza I've ever had.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like more like a New York style. Like I like a big slice, but
You can crush one of those.
you can crush the
yourself.
whole
It's
pizza in
nuts.
one sitting like that. But it's seriously one of the best.
Oh my gosh.
Also, where Taylor Swift goes, just
I
I'm
know.
gonna pull
I was
that
actually
Swiftie
just
card.
in Watch Hill.
Were you?
2 weeks ago.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah,
I have
I
an ice
love
cream video coming out for Watch Hill very
Oh,
soon.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I've
St.
actually
Anne's
never
Annex right
gotten
there.
ice cream in Watch Hill, and ice cream is maybe my favorite food. So,
Oh, yep, I'm right there with you.
yeah.
So you would say Modern. Why? So what makes the pizza in Connecticut so good? Like, do you know personally? Like, what is the New Haven style slice?
Yes. Well, people have different theories. Like, a lot of people say it's the water, and so they even like bottle the water now, and they'll sell it to pizza shops and things, or even just like consumers that want to make their own pizza at home.
No kidding.
It's pretty crazy, but fantastic business idea, I will
Yeah.
say.
Free water to bottle and send.
Right?
I mean,
come on.
you can't beat it. You got to be creative.
Yeah. But it's thin, crispy. It has like a charcoal. It's not burnt. It's the charcoal on the crust. People like to fight about that. It's so good. It's so good. And there's a lot of history and tradition behind it too.
Yeah. Does it come from New York? Is that why?
It comes from Italy, actually. Like people moved from Italy and started this little pizza community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we harped on the pizza. Let's move on. So you're saying oysters and the other James Beard woman, I forget her name.
Yes.
Mystic is a good spot for that.
Great.
Then New Haven, we're getting pizza. How about
Pizza.
throughout like the rest of the state? Where should people be going?
The whole coastline, lobster rolls. I'd say Live Shack or Lobster Landing. Those are 2 icons.
I have to assume you're a hot lobster gal.
I am,
considering
of
it's
course,
Connecticut
of
style.
course, yes.
The second best thing you guys ever did outside of pizza, I guess.
Yeah. I dabble in cold once in a while, but my heart and soul is with hot.
Yep.
Not Norm's is really good. There's just so many different options. But I also think lobster roll places and bagel places are so hit or miss, like every single time. So it's hard to find one that is entirely consistent. Like I could go to my favorite lobster roll place and have the best lobster roll of my life, and then I go 2 days later and I'm like,
Something about it.
something about
It's
it.
also, it's got to be like the lobster. Some of
Yeah.
them are tough. Some of them are tender. Some of them cook better than others. It's kind of how it goes
It's
with the
true.
seafood game.
It's true.
So what if we start heading like north, northwest, and east? Like, have you explored the food scene in these less predominantly known communities and towns?
Yeah, I think that's where you get less into like the staple foods and more into like the diversity of the cuisine. So it kind of depends where you are and like what's good in that specific town. But, you know, anything from Italian to Mediterranean, Indian, like truly you could find anything. There's a lot of good Peruvian places in Hartford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really you can find anything. And I think that's what it makes it really special.
Awesome. So is there something overall about Connecticut that has influenced you in a way that kind of maybe keeps you in Connecticut forever and you don't think about moving or anything?
I think,
and if so, what is it?
I think, you know, all of the different things to do. Like we have cities, I mean, even though they're nothing like Boston, but they're great cultural cities in themselves. You have the hikes, you have the coast, you are driving distance from Boston, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont. So there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of places to drive to. And I also love the community in Connecticut. I think it's a small enough state where you get to know the people in your community. And even like when you're growing in your career, like as a creator, I kind of love being in a smaller state because it's sort of like a big fish in a small pond situation. Like you get to work with, you know, community leaders and politicians and artists and musicians and things that you probably wouldn't have access to if you were a creator in New York or Boston. So I love the fact that everyone is, you know, accessible and like willing to work together and work with you and just also share their love for Connecticut, because when you do find people that are passionate about Connecticut, like they're very passionate about spreading that word. I love that.
Now, as a Connecticut resident, this is a hard-hitting question. Where does the line hypothetically draw for you where it starts to get a little bit too New Yorkish to be Connecticut?
I would say probably, I mean, I love New York, so it never gets too New Yorkish for me, but I would say like west of New Haven is when you start getting into the New Yorkie vibes and the traffic, like the severe traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
I got a question.
Okay,
Hold
go
on,
for
I'm
it.
sorry.
Yes.
Just based on that, out of all the states in New England, who are the worst drivers and why is it Connecticut?
Okay. See, I'm gonna argue. Well, okay. Worse in what way?
I'm just teasing. I'm just one of those, it's my highway and everyone needs to move over, but I always like to poke fun because I personally think it's Rhode Island. I think Rhode Islanders are the worst drivers. We have no business to drive the way we do because our state's too small. We're going nowhere. The Dunkin' that we're trying to go to, we passed 3 already. The coffee's not going to run out, but it's just funny because I feel like Mass is like the crazy drivers that are like, but like it's controlled chaos. Rhode Island's in a rush to go nowhere. And it's like the opposite with Connecticut. You're like driving in the fast lane, like just move. You're too entitled. Get out of the lane if you're going to go 63 miles an hour and enjoy the scenery. Just move.
I love that your statement is get out of my way. You're too entitled. The hypocrisy in that statement alone is beautiful. You're a Connecticut driver now.
I fear I'm going to agree with everything you just said, though. Because I was saying, like, bad in what way? Because I don't think we have a lot of crazy drivers. Like, there's not a ton of just weavers and things like that. But yes, like, get out of the left-hand lane. You're going 65. Like, what are you doing? That's not the max. That's the minimum. Like, I feel
like Connecticut is a good word might be stubborn.
Ooh.
Because I feel like they're not good, they're not bad, but they're kind of just in their own world. So it's like stubbornness to not have the awareness of fellow commuters. Whereas
unaware.
Rhode Island is just arrogance. I don't need to use a blinker because kiss my ass. And then Massachusetts is like, you know, that is Mad Max. That is just a, you know, drive at your own risk type of thing.
They're just doing their own thing.
Exactly. I'm with it. Okay, so we're going to draw that hypothetical line in, you said, just west of New Haven?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this as a Connecticut resident. Since you said that you've been working with politicians and you've been working with government and travel in Connecticut, I have a proposal for you.
Yes.
If Rhode Island and Connecticut joined forces and we split from New Haven, you just kind of like carve it out, and then you go straight up, just up to Hartford.
Okay.
So I think West Hartford actually doesn't make the cut. Or we can just kind of,
Could we maybe squeeze it in?
Yeah, we'll just like do a little squeeze around.
I appreciate the flexibility.
We take that side of Connecticut, so northern part of that cut goes
Gone.
up to Massachusetts
gone.
or even upstate New York, because it's kind of like woodsy. It's kind of like no man's land, farming, beautiful, great, but give it the boot. And then we give that west of New Haven part back over to New York, because I feel like my gripe is New Englanders are incredibly proud. So how can you be part of New England and part of the tri-state, especially when the tri-state has New York, our biggest rival?
It's true.
That is my gripe. So my proposal is, if you bring me along, if you accept my terms, I'd like to come to any sort of meeting that you go to with the residents of Connecticut to make my proposal absolutely heard.
I'm going to have to think about that because it's going to be tough to lose like Litchfield County and things. I feel like that's kind of Connecticut-y. But there's also a lot of New York residents that live there. So probably for the rest of New England, it'd be best if we, sent them back.
Do Connecticut residents not like New York residents as much as us? Or are they more tolerant? I would never be tolerant. If a New Yorker moved on my street, I'd set the street on fire.
Yeah.
That is a joke, just in case anyone's watching this. I don't want to federally get myself in trouble there.
I think it depends in what part of the state you're in, because again, like Fairfield County is a lot of people that work in New York and things like that. But especially during COVID, there were a lot of New Yorkers moving in, especially to West Hartford, that are just like outbidding everyone by like 10 times. So yeah, people hate people that move here from New York if you're being obnoxious and just throwing your money around like that.
Yeah. And how about the West Greenwich thing? Is that just like, I've never been, but is it really just like the facade that everyone talks about, that it's just like billionaires everywhere and these crazy cars, and it's like such a weird dichotomy between like what that is versus what's going on down the street?
It is quite wealthy. One of the first times that actually the first time I was ever in Greenwich, I was just going to like a thrift store, ironically. And I stepped out of the car and I like...
Probably a great place to thrift, by the way.
Yeah. And you know what?
You
I couldn't afford anything in that thrift store. So wasn't there for very long. But I could just like feel the wealth. Like, I don't think I've ever been somewhere before that where like, you just know you're like somewhere wealthy. Like everyone that walked by, even if they were in like casual clothes, like they were just like, they had an aura about them that unfortunately I was not born with. So I do think it's a very, very wealthy, fancy part, but not to say that it's not accessible to, go there for dinner and hang out. And, I won't be buying a home there, but it's great to enjoy the great food that, they pay for. So.
All right. I'm with it. I'm honestly falling into a category of being sold on this a little bit by you. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
You're making this sound pretty good.
All right.
But I'm not totally
make a
convinced.
whole day trip itinerary for you.
Well, this is the So New England podcast. So you know what? Why don't you give us a little pitch? Okay. Why do you think New England should accept Connecticut as the sixth state?
Okay.
What are you bringing to the table?
I think,
besides
first
pizza?
Of all, we have the heart, all right?
Ooh, okay.
We have the heart. We have the passion.
You also have the Connecticut sun.
We have the... not for much longer.
Oh, I know. We'll see.
Okay. We have the pizza. Okay. I don't think New England has great pizza. We could be that for you. And we need something to compete with New York, right? Especially if we're splitting off, like, then we'll have the pizza. It can be like a whole thing.
Okay.
And I also think we have the stubbornness and the willing to, fight if we need to.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have a lot of Dunkins.
Honestly, if you could just convince everyone to stay out of the left lane, I'd let you back.
Will you get over it? You just need to slow down.
I'm not over it either, please. If you can figure out a way.
He figured out a way, and that's just by getting as close to his bumper as they can and just give him the little pit maneuver.
Yeah. It's the keep right except to pass sign. No one cares. They can't enforce the camping thing. It's ridiculous.
It's rough. It really is.
Amazing. I think we're getting a lot of heavy New England questions here. So why don't we transition to our So New England segment? Since there are technically 6 beautiful New England states, would you mind ranking them for me? I'd like to see what you're most interested in at number 1 and which one you're like, not so good. And now I will say tread lightly because you are usually numero 6 for us.
I'm shocked.
So the 6th place coming in and chirping 1 through 5 might be tough for us. So let's hear it.
All right, we're gonna start from bottom.
Okay.
All right. And this is tough for me because I feel like I love truly every New England state, and I think they have a lot of similarities too. And it's really hard for me to rank them, but I'm just gonna go with my gut. Okay. And I hate to do this. New Hampshire, bottom for me. I really only find
Kathleen,
myself.
I cannot express to you how close you were to having me, and then you took my favorite state and you put it sixth.
So maybe if I'll give you Connecticut Rex, give me New Hampshire Rex. Okay.
Just cross the
sure you
border,
can
and it
convince
just
me.
happens. It's a feeling. It's emotion.
I think
something
this is a
occurs in
great
your.
list
Hold on,
so
wait a
far.
minute. Monologue. Something happens when you just cross that border.
Okay.
There's a nostalgia. There's a smell in the air. It's usually chlorine from the pools and the hotel carpets that haven't been changed in years. But if you just get up to those white mountains, there's a peace that happens. You understand live free or die when you're on those hikes, because you either live free or you're going to die out there.
Yeah.
And there's something about that freedom. And when God rest his soul, you don't get to see the man's on the mountain anymore. But if you ever saw that face, it was like seeing the second coming yourself.
Really?
I'm not trying to get dramatic here, but that's what New Hampshire does for my soul.
Doesn't sound dramatic at all.
You want to go skiing? They got it. You want to go hiking? They have it. They've got lakes, rivers, rocks. They got all of the things for you. I will say, as a foodie, you're not going to be totally impressed. But if you get up a little bit further north, little Polly's pancakes, that hits the spot.
Okay.
Comfort foods.
Okay.
Mom and pop's type of comfort eating, which is what I'm all about, which is why I like it.
Okay.
And again, I don't know how else to say it besides saying it's just not Connecticut, and that's what makes it great. So you keep it at sixth. I am now pessimistic of 1 through 5. I'll hear you out.
I'm going to swallow that one. All right. I think the food scene is kind of what lost me a bit on New Hampshire.
That's fair.
But I do love the foliage and the fall hikes and all of that. Incredible. But anyway, 6. Sorry.
It's your opinion. You go for it. Everyone's entitled to a wrong opinion from time to time.
That's fair. And I will say, if Boston didn't exist, Massachusetts would be 6th for me. But Boston's probably my favorite city.
Gotcha.
So can't do it to him. All right, 5th, and I say this with so much pain, Vermont. Love Vermont. It's also, it's a super easy drive up from where I live. It's just a straight shot up.
Yep.
So I love going up there. So many great farms and food and hikes. And anyway, I'm not going to go on. You know about Vermont.
Yes.
Okay. 3rd, I'm so sorry, Rhode Island.
Don't be sorry.
Wait, what are we at? 4th?
Four.
Well, that's okay.
Well, we'll take 4th or 3rd, whatever.
Yeah, I love Rhode Island.
We're not that passionate about it here. So you go right ahead.
I'm a big beach girl, so I love and appreciate Rhode Island.
Yeah, you guys love to come to Misquamicut now that I think about it. I can't even put my blanket down. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, and it's the traffic because we're all there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And we don't know how to drive, so that makes it half the problem.
Exactly. It's really annoying. No, that's our bad. That's our bad. Then we're gonna go. Oh God. We're gonna go Maine, which is another tough one. And you know what? I'm not gonna go into all the amazing things about Maine because we know it.
Yes.
Massachusetts, only because Boston is like one of my favorite cities. I don't know how people don't like it. Well, actually, I do because it's smaller. So like if you're a New York person, I get it. But Boston, love. And then obviously I have to help skew the scales a little bit.
Yes.
So with my whole heart and soul, I'm going to say Connecticut is number 1.
Connecticut number 1. We got to have some sort of buzzword. I mean, come on. Is that a first for the pod? Have we ever had Connecticut number 1?
I don't think so.
You heard it. Connecticut is
maybe
the
twice.
number 1 state in New England.
Wow.
Maybe twice. Maybe just twice though.
Wait, can I meet the other person that said it?
I think they were drunk.
They didn't
and
make it out of the
soon
studio.
arrested.
Just kidding. Awesome. All right.
Oh, that's good.
So I know you said that you are into sports, but this is also where I'm going to test the waters here. Are you a New England sports gal or a New York sports gal?
Well, I'd have to say.
Oh God.
I'd have to say.
You can't start with the well.
Probably neither.
Okay, well, I'd rather neither than New York.
I'm a big Hartford Yard Goats fan.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Right?
Yeah, we fuck with the Yard Goats.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, of course.
That's baseball?
I think.
You had the Hartford Whalers for a while. I don't know. That's still not around, right?
I won't hear the end of it. Everyone keeps talking about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys, we got to move on.
Yeah, it's time to.
Yeah.
But you're okay. All right.
But-
Well, we'll allow it then.
But, I'm not a big sports person, but I try sometimes.
That's okay.
I went to school in Boston, so I love the Red Sox game for like a vibe.
Yes.
We're
there for the vibes.
The vibes.
Honestly, with how bad the team has been, if you're unfamiliar, they
very
suck.
unfamiliar. Oh,
even though we
no.
just swept the Yankees because fuck the Yankees.
Hell yeah.
Also, The vibe in Fenway is what makes it great.
It is. It's a great vibe.
Fenway, Frank.
Yeah.
Girls' night out. You get a little Boston cap going on.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Okay.
I tried to get behind the vibe at Gillette. I went to a Patriots game. Can't say I was sold, but I did. I think I was the first person ever to get sushi at the stadium.
I'm so sorry.
So
what?
Whoa.
We've got sushi at
I
Gillette?
had to prove people wrong. My friends were like, you're not going to do that. Even when I was checking out at the place in Gillette with my sushi, the cashier was like, you're the first person I've ever seen to get that. I'm like, that's not inspiring.
I went to almost every home game last year, and I feel like I've eaten everything in that stadium. I had no
Where the
idea.
hell is there sushi?
Where were you buying?
I had to get a hit of serotonin. I was like, not, you know.
Wait a minute. Where did you get this?
I don't know. At one of the markets. It was, I hate to say this, it was good.
Oh.
I was good.
I mean,
so sorry.
Gillette food is top tier.
Yeah. So I guess, should I become like the sushi influencer for Gillette? People need to order the sushi.
I still think, I don't know if there's a sushi. Did you just buy it from a random person by half? That was like, hey, I got sushi for you?
I swear. I mean, they probably don't know they sell it, but they do sell it.
Probably someone's lunch that they brought in, and then
they just
you're
left
just like,
it
I'll
there.
take that sushi.
Yeah, she was probably like, wait, we don't even offer this. Where'd you get this? But we'll charge you if you want.
You heard
it was
it here.
like $25, something ridiculous.
This is insane. So we have a Connecticut resident that went to Gillette Stadium and ate sushi at the game.
And it was my favorite part.
Leave it to Connecticut to do something completely out of the...
survive to tell the tale.
I know. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
So I Googled sushi at Gillette, and they say it's not publicly sold. And
You definitely just... Girl, how many things did you have to do?
There is a restaurant in like the club seating or something, I guess.
No, it was literally at like just like a walk-in market where you like can't even sit down. It's just like grab and
We're gonna have to
go.
investigate this year.
I have photos of me eating it in Gillette. That can be the cover photo of this episode.
RJ, got the next one?
I do. When it comes to our beautiful, beloved, most appreciated, delicious New England, what would you consider, or you can do this one about Connecticut too, since you are holding it down for Connecticut.
I try.
What would you say is the most overrated and the most underrated
About Connecticut.
About Connecticut. Okay. Overrated. Okay, well, I was saying how much I love ice cream. And I feel like New England as a whole is like known for their like farm fresh, lovely ice cream. I think it's a little overrated only because it's hard to find like places that are actually good. Maybe it's because I'm an ice cream aficionado. Okay?
Yes.
But it's hard to find even like the farm stands that are actually doing it really well and like really flavorful. Shout out to Ferris Acres is my favorite one I think I found in Newtown if you're ever in Connecticut.
Ooh, okay.
Highly recommend.
Got it.
It's so good that like I will drive the hour there and then like buy quarts before they close for the season to like keep me through the winter. And then underrated, I mean, besides the whole state, pretty much everything. But I would say maybe the food scene. Like it is truly an incredible food scene.
It's definitely not talked about enough.
It's not talked about enough. And we have James Beard nominated chefs. We have just like, I know if there was a Michelin guide in Connecticut, like we'd have some great spots on there. It's just, you need to go check it out for yourself to see.
Absolutely. And I will piggyback a little bit on the food scene. I say this so many times, so I'm just being incredibly repetitive here. But we love to go down to Connecticut and we like to go to Clyde Cider Mill because it really is the best cider donuts.
It is
the
so
best
good.
cider donuts and hot cider. And I always get, a gallon. Some of our friends here, not particular order, like to get into the Witch's Brew over there and have himself a night or two.
I love the Witch's Brew.
Yeah. What do you mean me? Yes, you. You don't remember?
What you're talking about.
Well, yeah, of course you don't, because that's how good it was.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you wouldn't know
Shout
what
out
I
to
get.
Boomerang.
Okay, next question. Is there a best season in New England?
Summer. I know
gal.
most people say fall. I just summer, period.
Like the
warmth. And I think it just like shines the brightest in the summer. You have the most things to do. You have the hikes. You have not just the ocean swimming, but you have all the swimming holes and little hidden gems like that.
And Connecticut's quite alive in the summertime.
It is,
right?
yes.
That's when it's like the most to do in Connecticut.
You have the farm dinners. You have like the wineries, the breweries, everything's outside. The restaurants have their walls open. Happy hour on the patio. I mean, come on.
Can't beat it.
Love that. Now, Connecticut is obviously known for its pizza. And like you stated, when you go to the coast, the seafood is delicious. But this is kind of going off one of our questions. Is there another food that you think really fits New England and Connecticut well, like an unsung hero of the food world that is out of Connecticut?
I mean,
Doesn't get the attention it deserves.
I would normally say like very New England, like lobster roll, but that's a classic. Maybe like a lobster bisque.
Ooh.
I don't know. I love a lobster
Ooh, a
bisque.
little soup action?
And I don't
bisque,
hear
get it done.
anyone really talking about lobster bisque a lot of the time. It's all about the clam chowder. I'm not a big clam chowder girl, so.
Okay. Another strike against you. Kathleen, I'm sorry.
How many do I get?
I don't know. I've lost count. Math was not my strong suit. That's why I'm a
Oh my God,
podcaster.
me neither.
Content creators, unite. I will say, just to continue on that, the best thing I think personally to come out of Connecticut was the hot lobster roll. Because
Come on.
you don't dip hot lobster in a can of mayonnaise, but you do in a thing of butter. So why wouldn't you just put it on a...
Why not?
What do you think is the best lobster roll in Connecticut?
I'm going to have to go the classic Lobster Landing.
Lobster Landing. And where is that located?
That's in Clinton.
Clinton.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Do you have a hot take about New England as a whole? Because you spent some time in Boston, so you've done some traveling. But like, what's a hot take about the food scene, about the people, anyone that's not from there?
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, this is one thing that you should know.
I mean, it's a pretty hot take that I just ranked Connecticut 1. So
Yeah.
maybe that Connecticut is the best state in New England.
Wow.
Other than that,
Yeah, we don't allow that kind of swear on this podcast. We're gonna need you to
you can
chill with
censor
that.
it. You can
Yeah,
censor
this
it.
is a rated R. Okay, so
Imagine
behave.
if I just censored Connecticut every time.
We should do one of those clips that they have that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the trend where like, hi, I'm Kathleen and I paid for the trip. Hi, I'm Ian and hi, I'm Kathleen and I, you know what I mean? Like did the whole, we should do that. So Kathleen, what do you think of Connecticut? I think Connecticut, all right, awesome. What do you think? That's what we're going to do. I love that. That's awesome. That is a hot take though.
It is. And I'm passionate about it, you know?
Stand on business.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then if we could add an additional state
Yes.
to New England,
Okay. Additional state.
can also be a city specific. It can also be just like a geographical location. Add a whole country if you want. Anywhere in the
Ooh,
world.
oh my
Bring them
gosh,
on
we're
over
really-
to join us.
Oh my gosh.
Open
Okay.
up the horizons.
You know what I would love to do is take a little Spanish island, like maybe Majorca, and just plop it off the coast of Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
We have a little.
What do you mean? Majorca and Block Island are like the same thing.
It's
we
super
already got an
similar.
island.
It's super similar, but in this perfect situation, it'd be the Spanish climate as well. So we'd have just a little. Because my one gripe with New England is it's cold, and I don't like the cold. But
Fair.
if we could have a little escape, you know, I think that would be ideal. And I love Spanish food and the language and everything about it. So we're doing the impossible here.
I'm with it.
That's a great answer. I like that one. If you could write a book about New England, what would you call it?
I mean, I feel like I should stay on brand and call it like New England Bucket List or something.
Ooh, I like that.
Do a whole travel
That's
guide.
it.
Do a whole travel
Yeah.
guide. That's smart.
Mhm.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
that
New
probably
business venture.
exists, but you know what? For the sake of this,
That's okay. Yeah. That's all right.
we're gonna get like a cease
and
and,
they look up
desist from New
and
England
they look
Bucket
up
List.
to you for
That's
a great
you know
answer,
what?
though.
I was just thinking, what holidays does Connecticut do best? Because Hallmark movies really get down and dirty with those Christmas films.
They do.
But I do feel like Connecticut low-key really crushes Halloween. There's kind of an eerie
I do
vibe
love
about
Halloween.
Connecticut.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. We have a lot of great historic, like small towns, and
Yeah.
a lot of them do their own little Halloween parades or things like that. So I love that about Connecticut, and it feels spookier when it's not like Salem is fun, but it's very like commercialized. So I don't feel like it feels spooky there.
Yeah, low-key Salem
But-
sucks. That's just my opinion. But
I feel the same way.
yeah, you know.
I didn't know if that was safe to say.
No, you can say it. We hate on we love all of our states, but we hate on them as well. That is the New England way. But I just feel like there's so many times I've been in Connecticut where I'm just like, there's no street lights. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and some of these buildings and churches are old as shit. This is some horror movie stuff going on around here.
There's actually a town in Connecticut, and I forget what it's called because, of course, but it's you're like not allowed to go there. I believe it might be privately owned now, and it's supposed to be super haunted.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like people will like break in, you know,
Gotcha.
and explore
Oh,
this spooky
goodness.
town.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I
another
think it's
reason
gonna
why
be
we
a
just
pass for
got
me,
to
too.
wherever that is. If that is on the side that gets added to Rhode Island, we just got to cut that out.
No,
and-
that's I think that's on the New York side.
The New York side.
Yeah, they can keep that.
Scary Monsters.
Yeah,
I'm not
checks
into
out.
that. Awesome. This has been a wonderful,
Dudleytown,
wonderful episode.
Connecticut.
What is it called?
Dudleytown, Connecticut.
we go.
Dudleytown.
There we
Yes,
go.
I've heard of Dudleytown. Wait, I got to look on this on a map. Where is this? I'm almost positive that there was a route where I had to deliver the plumbing supplies in Dudleytown, Connecticut.
No.
Yes.
To
I'm
a
almost
ghost?
positive.
Yeah, ghosts don't use the bathroom, dude. You gotta stop making these things
Yeah.
up.
I'm not making that up.
He's
I
the
swear.
one starting these urban legends.
It was
Yeah,
my
true.
fault. Maybe they thought there was just a ghost because I'm so pasty white and I need a tan. Is there a favorite New England or Connecticut movie or film for you?
I would have to go Gilmore Girls
Yes.
because that was,
I figured.
it's such a classic.
It
And
is.
they've done a great job of like using that for tourism and like bringing people to that town. And it's such a cute town. So yeah, it's great.
I've been told, which I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but I've worn, anytime I wear a flannel in the fall and the backwards hat, I'm told I look like the guy from the diner.
I see it.
Is that, I don't know if that's a good thing, but you know what? Great show. So I will take the compliment.
Yeah.
Kathleen, what do you got going on that anyone can keep track of? Where can they find you on social media so that they can fall in love with Connecticut as much as you have?
Yes, please. I will convince you. It's Connecticut Bucket List on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and whatever other platform pops up tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic. Well, the verdict is in. I'm not sold. I'm sorry. I'm not
Come
sold.
on, come
Connecticut's a
on.
cool spot. You went up in the ranks a little bit, but I'm not sold.
Did I just hear you say it's the #1 state in New England?
Nope. Definitely not what you heard.
Oh,
Nope.
the ghost.
It must have been the ghost from Dudleytown.
Yeah.
The ghost of Dudleytown.
In all seriousness, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your very inspirational story. I love what you're doing. I think Connecticut's great. You're doing a wonderful job representing it. So kudos to you. Thank you for making the trek up and being on with us and sharing all your wonderful stories. And hopefully this will inspire people to travel and visit Connecticut a little bit more, help out these small businesses, check out these wonderful restaurants. And we really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Hell
Of
yeah.
course. All right, folks, that's going to conclude episode 93 of the So New England podcast. Please try and remember, folks, life's better in New England, except with Connecticut.
Red Sox crack and the Celtics fly.